Hi, I'm Neil Waspe. I am a Senior Commercial Manager for the Signalling and Telecoms Division. I first joined Volcarail in September 2001, so I hit 25 years this year. Started here as an assistant QS and have moved through the commercial function, covering various different roles to where I am now, looking after the division. I'd done some work on light rail projects. I'd worked on Nottingham Tram in my first few years at Volcarail, but this was definitely the biggest project that I had been involved in, and was obviously the first one really where I'd got a huge involvement with Network Rail as a client, etc. So it was a big step up for me, yes. What I remember about the project and the impact to the business was probably it was one of the first times we had really started to be in the limelight with Network Rail. And I think it helped to move us from almost a medium-sized contractor to one of the big players in the railway industry. You know, when you look at it, 35, 36 point ends, 150, 160 OLE structures, 10 kilometres of track relaying. It was huge, and I do remember it was high pressure. There was no question. It was high pressure. It was very different for me, but it was a huge learning experience for me. It was multidisciplinary. I was working more on the track side, but supporting OLE as a subcontractor to us, our internal OLE resource. But it was a learning curve, I think, for me and a lot of the project team, but it brought different people to within Grant Rail as we were then. So we brought in people from other companies that had the experience of heavy rail and large scale projects. What we learned from Nuneaton, I think, and what we showed in Nuneaton is that we could be a big player in the railway industry. I think we delivered it well. There was moments of high pressure while we were at Nuneaton, but we delivered the job on time and I believe to budget. We got out of there having made our margins, made our profit, and we built a reputation that we could deliver large scale schemes. The other thing it taught me, because of the size of the project, was the work that had to go into running a project like that. I'd worked in quite small teams. To suddenly go into the Nuneaton project where there was, I would say, between 70 and 100 people on the project. So we had a big site office in Nuneaton. You know, you were there every day, you were part of a team. So that was quite different to me, because I'd been used to working with one project manager, maybe a planner, etc. And suddenly to be part, don't want to say a smaller fish in a bigger pond, but it was part of a bigger team, was very different for me. When I look at how the team evolved through Nuneaton, I think if I look at the commercial team, I worked for Jamie Rathbone, and then there was 2 or 3 other commercial staff on the job. I think we all went in there a little bit nervous, a little bit green, inexperienced in that sort of role, and we grew as a team together. What I learnt from Nuneaton and what has helped me with the way I manage is, yes, there are times when I have to be a manager, but we are all part of a team, and we succeed together. The biggest part I learnt in Nuneaton was we were all respected, we were listened to, our opinions counted, and I try to carry that through now in the way I treat my team. Yes, at times I have to be the manager, but we are all one team, and that definitely came through in Nuneaton with the way we worked, and I have tried to carry that through the rest of my career.